For those who might not know, we do save all the recordings from these meetings and put them onto our SBAC YouTube channel, so that if you ever want to go back or if you miss a meeting, they'll be posted there so you can hear what was reported out. So welcome to our weekly Eastside or bi-weekly Eastside RAP meeting. So for anyone who may not be or may be new to the meeting, this is where we discuss any homelessness impacts specific to the Eastside neighborhood, and then work with our service providers to try and come up with solutions together. So we'll be here for 30 minutes, and then we will close the meeting to community members, and then the service providers will discuss the confidential client information so we can try and move things forward. I want to start by sharing a couple general announcements. I'm going to let another person into the meeting. So we have a few just upcoming dates to make sure that they're on everyone's radar. So this coming Monday at 11:30 a.m., we'll have our monthly neighborhood walk. This time we'll be actually focused on the west side of the waterfront region. We'll be meeting in front of Chad's Cafe, formerly Sambo's, at 11:30 a.m. And the purpose of these walks is for community members to just get to know some of our service providers and city staff that are working on these issues. But number two is to try and engage the businesses in the area to ask them about any impacts they're facing, just so we can talk to them face to face and let them know about where they can join these meetings or other ways that they can receive support if they need it. And I think someone is, make sure you're muted, everybody. So that will be on Monday. Then coming up on Tuesday evening, there will be a special exhibit at the public library. It's a photo exhibit of photos taken by people experiencing homelessness about their experiences during the pandemic. And so this was actually part of a research project that Cottage Center for Population Health and SBAC put on in 2021. And we're just now sharing some of the results. There will also be followed up by a panel discussion with some homelessness service providers. And then the third date is our next all-call RAP meeting. We are shifting we typically meet on the third Wednesday of the month at 3 p.m. for our all-call RAP meeting. But because of the city's open house and because we're just trying to figure out what's going to be a better time to make sure we get more community members there, we're going to try this month on Tuesday, May 23rd at noon, and that'll be on Zoom. And this is the meeting where we just open it up for general discussion around homelessness issues citywide. So at this particular all-call RAP, we'll have a presentation regarding the point-in-time count results from 2023, about the actual numbers of people experiencing homelessness and the different demographics that we're seeing and trends. And then we'll also have a short presentation about kind of where we're at with the collaborative and the survey that many of you completed about what you would like to see moving forward. Any questions about those upcoming dates? So with that, I wanted to pull up, this may be a little out of date, so service providers, if you can help me out with this maybe after the fact, but we do have an ongoing outreach schedule calendar for the East Side neighborhood of when each of these providers is out and about and where they're out and about in the community. And this is just their regular recurring schedule, but obviously there's different emergent needs that will come up where they'll be in the East Side neighborhood at different times, or they'll be in other neighborhoods at other times. And so I just want to keep that in front of our community members so you're aware of when you can expect to see people around, and so that you can help guide our service providers if you're seeing certain issues in certain areas at certain times. So I'll leave that up for another minute, but while it's there, let's just talk about a couple of quick updates for the Eastside region. Liz or Joao, would one of you be willing to share about the labor line and the current status of that fenced off area? Not sure if they can hear me.
Yeah. I'll wait for Joao to answer. He's been the lead on this.
I was waiting. I was doing the same thing.
There we go. Okay, perfect. Yes. At the moment, we are opening it up on Monday. All the work will be completed, It's been sandblasted. We have new trash containers, and our contractor is going to do just some minor things this week, and Monday the fence will come down.
Thank you. And so just a reminder for everyone, this was an effort by the city of Santa Barbara to try and preserve that area on Yananali Street so that it's specifically for the purpose of the labor line, because there have been different encampments popping up, and we want to make sure that that area is able to stay for its intended purpose. And then also, we know that there's been a lot of work being done by both Union Pacific Railroad and Caltrans along the Highway 101 corridor. Specifically, Caltrans has begun doing some cleanups along the corridor. And so different individuals in encampments they've been working with CityNet. CityNet's been letting them know in advance that this was coming. But we are seeing some movement, whether that means they're moving out of Caltrans property and into railroad property, or whether they're moving off into other areas. The Union Pacific Railroad will also be doing some cleanups in the coming weeks. So we'll see some more movement after that as well. I don't know, CityNet, if you want to share anything else about that for the moment. I know that this is kind of just an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I was actually going to be sending an email out. So the update with more specifics, I'm going to be connecting with the actual case manager that will be going with UPR. So she will be out here Sunday night. So the process, they actually moved the dates, and this is, I got information last night. So you guys are actually the first one to hear about it before I send the email out that I was actually putting together right now. We'll be beginning on Monday. So it looks like it's a week early than what we thought. But it will be beginning on Monday, and I'm going to get the process because this is new for us. That's why I'm going to contact Erin myself, and I'm actually going to be out there with her initially, just because this is new for our community. I'm going to be boots on the ground to get a feel for kind of how it is, because with history, our staff and our outreach providers were never really there during an actual clearing or posting of the area. So this will be something new for us. So I'm going to be out there initially just to kind of get a feel, make sure I'm there to support, our individuals that are being cleared, along with getting a better understanding of just how the process fully works because of it being so new to the Santa Barbara. But it will be Monday through Friday as of right now. I'm trying to get the specific areas that they're going to start at, but they will be out there. I'm going to be out there as early as 8 o'clock. So I'll get you guys more details. I'll send a follow-up email. But yes, that is the update we have. I'll get you guys more as I get that.
Thank you, Al. So it sounds like we may have some more to discuss at the next Eastside RAP meeting once we see kind of what the impacts are. As we expect to see some movement because of that, we encourage you to keep using the city encampment reporting link. So Joao, could I ask you to just put that in the chat, because I always seem to use a weird version of it. So we encourage you to use that so that we can keep track of where we're seeing movement, so that we can make sure that we're addressing it as it comes up. And then one other just general announcement before we open it up for our service providers to share is, because of the rains, it's just a reminder that we don't have the warming centers open right now. And so these last 2 nights, I'm sure we've seen some movement around the neighborhood, especially moving under the underpasses or areas where people can find shelter. And so we expect that, and we also try to hold space for people until the rains pass, which we expect should be today. So with that, I want to pass it over. Why don't we start with CityNet? If you can just share about some of your work on the East Side over the last 2 weeks.
Yes, so I thank you for putting that up as far as kind of our breakdown of the usual outreach in the areas. So the community is kind of aware of what we have. And like Landon said, if there are any specific concerns, please feel free to reach out. Oh, go ahead. Was I echoing?
No, I think you're okay.
Yeah, so if there's any specific concerns, please reach out or put them onto the link, or just contact me directly, and we can see the availability based off the workflow of our team. in order to get out there onto those concerns as quickly as possible. But with John, Melissa, Christina, and we have Mary that focus and are able to help out in the East Side community and area throughout the week. We went by the Cacique and Pass area twice this past week, and like I said, there's been one day there was 2 individuals, another day there was 1 individual, but they were just in the area, currently residents of Pat, so there was no encampments or buildup in that area. They were just pretty much just you know, connecting with one another, but they are staying at Pat, so they wouldn't be in there. So if any uprisings do happen to begin, please let us know, because of these current clearings that are going to be coming up. But overall, they have been clear, and there's been no one camping in the areas. We do start off our Wednesdays at the Rescue Mission NNC, you know, on the east side. So we do connect with multiple individuals in that area. This week, we happen to connect with 6 different individuals, be able to provide some ID vouchers and set up some appointments in order to be able to assist them in that process. So that's always been a success while it's been there, and it does make an impact on the individuals that are in the east side and that the community happens to see around. Christina and Melissa went with Odin on Spanish outreach on the Wednesday, conducted outreach on the waterfront, Dwight Murphy, Pershing, multiple areas that would cover in the east side. Spoke to multiple individuals, were able to give snacks and water to them while they were out there. They did come across one individual, and Odin might have more information, but they had a trash bin over his head. Was a bit concerning, but the individual was very responsive, thankfully, and engaging with our staff, and Odin probably as well. He can give you updates on that. Walked right east West Beach area, where was able to just cover most of that, along with just checking out the labor line. So outreach has been provided throughout the area. It's a lot of engagement that has been happening, and we haven't been getting too many concerns as far as the underpasses and those areas. And it seems to be, when we are just some individuals that just happen to get out and enjoying their day outside of Path before going back.
Thanks, Al. I see we already have a couple of concerns listed in the chat. So let's just go quickly to Odin. If you can share an update so we can get to these community concerns.
Gladly, yeah. So just been going around the neighborhood block, doing outreach, and just echoing what Al said. Did collaborate with CityNet for some waterfront outreach, plus Cacique outreach as well. Just to acknowledge Susie's comment there, yes, we have noticed a lot of daytime activity going on in there, and I have responded to no more than 3 different overdoses. They are not appliance, but individual I haven't seen before on the east side. It's a lot, to be honest, very emotionally taxing, but it's important to just be there, boots on the ground, to have the necessary resource there, because although those individuals weren't quite ready yet to receive, of course, emergency treatment, but not, just to be there when, that time comes, if they want to get into like a detox center or facility or something like that. So continuing on those walks, I've noticed a fair bit of uptake on Cacique Street, walking around. So I've been, engaging with them as much as I can. But a lot of my focus has been mostly on the clients that I've already have on my caseload. My caseload is at pretty much capacity, a little bit over capacity. But we've over the past 4 weeks, we've got the last 3 of my clients with vouchers housed, actually. 2 of them up in Santa Maria, and then 1 individual in Goleta. And longtime residents of the waterfront actually had multiple types of cancers, managed to get in contact with supportive care through a good Samaritan, and now he's out there just living his best life with all the treatment that he can. Additionally, we also had 1 client, a longtime resident of the east side, Natasha, actually has a picture of me and this client on the freeway. We've actually managed to house him as well. So although these last few weeks, this last month has been a lot, the highest of highs, lowest of lows, but I gotta say,
Great work, Odin.
Thank you.
It's great to hear all the successes through the journey, and it's definitely not easy. Thank you, Natasha, for adding that information and concerns that I do see on the side. It looks like Joelle's going to be able to jump on that too, as well as a 7-Eleven. Please feel free to reach out directly when those happen. That's the best way. And of course, we're going to get that out there as quickly as possible with those areas, and then with the support of Joelle and the city of Santa Barbara to be able to, help out with the concerns on what they're able to do, when it comes to fencing and stuff like that. But of course, our specific focus will be on the individuals that are causing the concern. But Susie, like Odin just said, there obviously has been some struggles with the drug use, and it looks like a increase from your eyes when you're seeing out there. And we're going to do our best to, because Odin's one person and he just does an amazing job. And like I said, besides the caseload and trying to be the community concerns, I've been in his shoes, so I know the area of concern in that specific area. So we would just, and for Odin, just let you know, we support you. Reach out to us as well to do what we can to provide you the support, along with the community, along with the individuals, to try to come up with as much of a resolution as possible with this increase in drug use, to try to get them the help and service that they need. Even in times of where someone is, overdosing, and even after that, they're not willing to accept the services, we're still going to be there to support them. Because at the end of the day, we don't want these things to happen. And that's what brings more concern to the community. So just reach out to us. I know you do, Susie, so thank you for that. And we are doing our best as a community, and especially, with us within this field, trying to support you guys for the businesses, so that we don't have to have this concern consistently going. But all we can do is be there when they are. And that is a tough part, as Odin, just explained. It is tough emotionally, and it can be breaking down, but we're still here and we're not going to stop. So just get a hold of us when these things happen. Thank you, Joel, for following up on that, and reach out if we can support in any way with these individuals that are causing these disturbances.
Thank you both. I think also, I don't think this group needs any reminding, but the city does have a homelessness response directory as well, because there's so many different kinds of issues that we're trying to address here. And there's different people you want to call for different kinds of issues. So I put that link in the chat window, which has the specific numbers for if it's a mental health crisis, if it's a person appears to be a danger to themselves, if it's trash, whatever it may be. And then I guess while we're on it, Susie, do you want to share anything else about your comment? You're still muted, Susie. I'm not sure if you're trying to talk right now. Well, we'll move on for right now. We can circle back with it. Anais, are you there to share an update from Good Samaritan?
Good morning, I am back. Update for Good Sam is that we are continuously going out. We've been focusing a lot of our time this past week with the Galita and IV, so I don't have too much of an update for this area. Working on document readiness, fulcrum, the works, and just trying to get as staffed up as possible. And both of my Todd and Fernando are not here, so I apologize for that. Todd is out on a personal note, and Fernando is, we're trying to get one of our clients' records expunged right now. So he is with him right now. So cross your fingers for that one.
Very well. So thank you to all of our outreach providers. And I think just from what Odin is sharing, it's a reminder that homelessness impacts everyone in the community. It impacts obviously our businesses and our community members. It impacts the people themselves, and it does impact our service providers quite a bit. So really, really grateful to all of you for being a part of these conversations, because it impacts all of us. I want to open it up for other community concerns from other community members or anyone else from the community.
And then I know it's not, the topic's not appropriate for this call, but I know the concern is elevated, especially in the East Side neighborhood. But the city is prioritizing response to illegal and unpermitted sidewalk bending. The more egregious violations that are happening on the east side that are more pop-up style outdoor restaurants that are blocking the public right of way, that are using open flames, and that are blocking ADA accessibility. A multi-department task force is being created, led by yours truly. So if you have any questions or concerns, please direct them to my attention. I'll be responsive. We are not going to be sharing our response times and days, because again, we don't want that to be public information. But the more egregious violations, coordinated multi-agency response with public health, they have been very collaborative with us, starting as soon as next week. And then, of course, education outreach to sidewalk bending to ensure that people are following the lawful permitted pathways to be able to do business in the city. And then we're working with the Santa Barbara Eastside Society and Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to host a community meeting, where we'd be able to, again, offer more education about permitted sidewalk bending opportunities in the city, as well as address questions and concerns. So just wanted to give an update because I know it's been top priority, and we received a lot of concerning emails and important emails from Eastside residents and business owners.
Thank you, Barbara. Possibly related to that, I see Natasha's comment about an inundation of people and items around the post office. I don't know if there's any responses from any of our service providers on that right now. I know that PATH is one of the most frequented areas that our outreach folks are walking.
Natasha, are these attended or unattended belongings, or both?
Well, both.
Okay.
I was trying to both unmute and do my video. There's and I haven't been over there like in the last couple of days, but there was like just this massive bicycle pile up sort of a thing. And to me, it's like, yeah, it looks like a bicycle theft ring. You know, that's my conclusion. Nobody has that many bicycles, and it has been attended and it's been not attended, because I guess people will leave it there and they'll leave it like stored on the street.
Okay.
And what the post office ended up doing was they took down all the trees, they took down all the foliage, they took everything down because they were having people camping in their bushes.
Okay.
So, and I spoke to the guys in the post office, and, you know, their steps on the side are frequently occupied. And beside that, often people will store their stuff. And so it's like just like right around the post office, and obviously down the street, you know, by PATH and across the street.
Yes, Natasha, I go down there twice a week. I'm sure Susie has seen me out there. Our crew is out there twice a week. We're moving people so we could clean the area. We are addressing all the property that is there. If it's not attended, we post it. We give them 72 hours to gather their stuff. If they haven't, we do take it to our property container where they have a few days to pick it up. But we are out there. I'm also having parking enforcement address a lot of the cars that are there on the Cacique and Quarantina. But I will increase a little bit more our presence there.
Well, who would like for me to send pictures to them when I go by? Because often I'll take pictures and it's like I don't send them, or I'll, you know, forget to send them, or I send them to somebody but it's the wrong person. Who'd like to receive those?
I'd love to receive those.
The link is in the description. You could use that link to report property, encampments, individuals in need. And you're able to submit photos there as well.
Yeah, just all too often it ends up taking so much time that I don't do what I'm supposed to do.
You can definitely send those to me, Natasha.
Thank you, Al. I will do that.
I can also make a point to reach out to that particular post office and invite them to these calls too, because it might be helpful to be able to chat with their staff. If you have a specific contact, Natasha, I'd love to reach out to them, but otherwise I'll just plan to see if I can go by sometime.
Yeah. Yeah, I think their manager is changed or something. So, and yeah, and every time you guys get a picture, by the way, know that there were probably, another 10 or 12 times where I intended to send them and didn't, or got caught up with other business. This is, it's time consuming. Even the pictures, just time consuming. But I super appreciate you attending to it. Thank you.
Mayor Rouse.
Yeah, as long as we're on the subject of property, I was wondering if I could invite Ms. Anderson to talk a little bit about what's coming up this coming Tuesday, as far as our ability to making moves towards trying to alleviate some of these property situations. Barbara, could you elaborate on that for the class here?
Yes, yeah, we have a draft ordinance, and I think, again, some of you know this because you've been sharing concerns with us over the last, I would say, couple of years. A draft ordinance that's going before council that is really going to help with addressing unattended personal belongings that are stored in public spaces. And what's beneficial about this is, one, it's just a very carefully detailed ordinance in terms of notice of pre-removal, post-removal, coordination among city departments to ensure that items are stored properly and they're able to be returned to individuals as they desire, as well as additional storage options for individuals experiencing homelessness that would like to have their items stored and not have them to be carried on their person, or again, be able to be in our public parks and public areas without having to worry about their belongings. So there's a lot of detail in the council agenda report as well as the draft ordinance. So I suggest that you take a look. We welcome all comments and questions. Again, those can be directed to me. What is also really important to note is that enforcement of the ordinance will be delayed because we want to work with all of our partners on getting certain information out. We don't want people to be in fear or anxious that, again, their personal belongings are going to be, stored in any way without proper notification or without them knowing, as well as how to access that, what our standard operating procedures are going to be as the city. So we have plenty of time to work with all of our partners, including communicating through the regional action plans to be able to address approach, as well as enforcement. And again, we're hoping that some of the more dangerous observations that we've had of unattended personal belongings be left that really are a threat to public health and safety, that we're able to address in a much more timely fashion than we have up until this point.
Thank you, Barbara. That'll be the city council meeting on Tuesday. We're at the 10:30 mark. Are there any other community concerns that anyone wants to raise before we switch to the provider meeting? And I see a note from Natasha in the chat with regard to the vendors as well. All right. With that, we'll close it out for our community members. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate your time, and we'll keep moving this forward.